what if you don't know enough about psychology to make decisions? So you don't know what you don't know, right? So you want to just kind of comb through what exists. And what when you go into that database, there's just like millions of things. And so it's like, how do you decide what's important? Well, one thing you can do is go to the library catalog. If something goes beyond an article and it gets published in a book or even a compilation of a book, that is a measurement of impact and it's arguably more important. So there's a couple things you can do. Let's go to the advanced search. Books, there's so many electronic books these days that don't worry that this isn't something you have to go into the library. But we can do any field. I'll just do any field. Psychology. And you can say material type, and I want just books. So we have access to like 7 million books. So this is nothing to sniff at. There's probably going to be lots. But only 182,000. This is where you'd find textbooks too. But instead of looking them in order of like whatever the library catalog's trying to do, let's look at it in order of like what's been published most recently. This is something I'll do sometimes with like a cup of coffee, and I'll be just sit down and look at any topic and see what's been published on it. So you can see what matters to people. So, religion, spirituality, experimental. Ooh, there's more religion, Islam, culture. So there's trauma, cognitive behavioral therapy, immigration. You get the idea. Another thing that you can do is, let's go back to our advanced search. Let's look at something more specific. So say for your example, there was that fella, that poor guy who had a heart attack. I think he played for the Buffalo Bills football team. I'm not a big football watching person, so forgive me if I get this wrong. Had a heart attack. But before one of their big games, he appeared in the locker room. He wasn't going to play, but he appeared in the locker room to encourage his teammates. What is that all about? Well, let's take a look. Psychology. Look up football or sports. And then let's see what we get. I'm hoping to find like sports psychology. So say you're interested in something very specific like that. You can go into the books that way too. And there'll be compilations. Might be good to sort by date, but it depends on how many you get. Oh, there's 4,000 results. Let's go by date newest. What's being published on sports psychology right now? Gender-based violence in children's sport, refugees, survivors, adversity, big fights, like the mixed martial arts is a big deal right now. Mentally healthy sport organization, communication, COVID-19. See how this works? And still, there's thousands of things to pick through. What do you want to do if you want to just kind of see the stream of what's going on right now? There's some popular places to go. I mentioned one, psychologytoday.com. That one's kind of, that one's tough because it's not necessarily being organized in a manner that's open. It's kind of like I don't know what direction they're following. Be that as it may, you might find a magazine online. Something called Reddit, if you're not familiar with, you can go to specific ideas and communities and people that are talking about stuff. And if you go to Reddit, the psychology Reddit, people are just posting stuff. And these are people that are interested in it. And there's a moderator, so they keep the trash out of there. So there's, how to memory improvement, or there's some historic stuff, relationships with parents. So this is reasonably okay place to go and look and see what's happening in something. Another thing you can try, if you go to Google and in your search, you can see everything that everyone's writing about a particular topic. So let's do psychology. That's the context. and then you put colon, and then you can type anything after that. Not snowboarding, snowboarding. So you could put in a whole bunch of snowboarding women, snowboarding female. I'm just going to do, no, I'll just do snowboarding. So what this means is instead of looking up psychology and snowboarding, what we're saying is we want to look up snowboarding, but only in the context of things that kind of declare themselves as psychology in that context. And some of this is evidence-based, and some of it's just like people talking. Here's psychology today. So you could do that with, you could search snowboarding. Let's look at societal problems. Homelessness, immigration. Some of these will be from national initiatives where that's public health campaigns. Some of it will be articles. Some of it will be groups who are working with populations like this. So what they're essentially doing, though, with this search is it's helping you figure out what's being written about and what's interesting. And you could type in anything you want. Last thing that I want to cover is there's a book called You Are Not So Smart. And actually, we have an audiobook. We almost never have audiobooks. If you wanted to find this in the library catalog, you would just go to the library catalog and put You Are Not So Smart as a book title. And it's searching that in quotes. And you would end up finding this. There's some print books, but they're always checked out. This is like a blogger who was an enthusiast of psychology, and they would just post stuff. And that's where I got self-determination, motivation theory, why you're susceptible to sales and propaganda, and why, there's a punchline, scary one that you can look for. If you're in an airplane that is on fire, some people might just sit there and just be like, la, 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 la. Apparently that's a thing. You think you'd be panicking and running away, but not necessarily.